Hi guys. Welcome to the Turkish series Stars channel. All the details are in our video. Before we dive in, remember to subscribe and share so you never miss the latest updates. Thank you for being here. A stunning development has erupted around Barış Baktaş and Yagmur Yüksel, one of the most buzzed about couples lately, and this time the shockwave comes from inside Yagmur's own camp. A remark whispered by her representative to a tight circle has spilled out, and it's the kind of line that fuels days of headlines. Reconciling with Barış was a mistake. The words hit like a spark in dry grass, sudden, sharp, and impossible to contain once the wind of social media picked them up. Let's rewind to the backdrop. Their relationship has been a classic on and off roller coaster that fans watched with hopeful hearts and anxious eyes. After a cool-down period in recent months, the two had found their way back to each other in the last few weeks. Their reunion, soft and seemingly sincere, gave their supporters renewed faith. People close to them said the glow was real, but there were murmurs too, murmurs that the calm was too delicate to last. And in a private moment that was anything but harmless once it leaked, Yagmur's manager reportedly vented frustration about the reunion. The comment, relayed in hushed tones, ricocheted among insiders and then made its way to the outside world at astonishing speed. According to one source, the manager did not mince words. The version that reached the press carried a steady, almost clinical punch. While Yagmur's career was soaring, her reconciliation with Barış was draining her energy. This decision was emotional, not strategic, and would count as a professional misstep. Softened by none of the compassion that fans expected from someone in her corner, the statement stunned readers. It wasn't just criticism, it sounded like a line drawn in the sand. If their love was the stage, the manager had just thrown the spotlight on the clash between heart and ambition. What followed was inevitable. Social media divided like a sea pulled by competing moons. One group argued that the manager was thinking long-term, protecting the momentum that had been building around Yagmur. They posted sentiment after sentiment echoing the same point: when you are in your prime, you cut distractions, you lean into your craft, you guard your focus. Others countered with equal passion that a private life should remain private, that controlling a woman's choices in the name of strategy was a line too far. They insisted that happiness isn't the enemy of success and that love can be fuel, not a drain. Comments poured in that could be summarized in two refrains: her manager is right, she should seize this career moment, and no one should interfere, her heart is her business. And what about Barış? He stayed put in the eye of the storm, but those who know him say the words hit hard. He's said to have told friends that no one has the right to define Yagmur's life like that, not as if it were a ledger of gains and losses. For a man who keeps his private side guarded, this reaction sounded protective and proud. But even a statement like that can tilt the balance again. If insiders are to be believed, the tension could shift from a rift between professional and personal to a confrontation between circles, between a partner who wants calm and a representative who wants control. The idea that those closest to them might pull in different directions only deepens the storm clouds that were already gathering. While these conversations brewed, Yagmur chose silence, at least in the usual sense. No press notes, no live interviews, no barbed replies. Instead, the actress turned to her feed with captions like living a simple life and finding herself. Minimalist photos and short reflections about small joys drew attention. Of course, the comments piled up, as if every word of hers had a hidden meaning. Followers wondered if she was responding without naming names. Was she affirming a wish to slow down, to reclaim peace in a world that rarely sits still? Was she hinting that the noise around her was too loud? It's the kind of ambiguity that her fans read like poetry, searching for the line that tells them how she's truly feeling. The result is that their story, already familiar to the tabloids, is once more pulled to center stage. Will this wave carry them forward or break them against the shore? Their supporters remember how it all began: two people meeting on set, sparks gradually gaining color, a friendship that turned into something undeniable. Work brought them side by side, and the chemistry didn't stay on the page. In time, what was whispered turned to headlines, and then the rhythm of their bond found its first big test. They took space, kept quiet, and then returned, as many lovers do, with the hopeful belief that the second try would be more mature than the first. But the chatter behind the curtain paints a very different picture, one where professional schedules and public images are like pieces on a chessboard that never stop moving. Sources suggest the manager's unease didn't begin with the reunion. It built over time, through long nights, back-to-back commitments, and the kind of attention that blurs boundaries. That's why the words sounded less like a snap judgment and more like a conclusion reached after watching the same story repeat. According to the whispers, the representative's stance was simple and unflinching. Yagmur is at a pivotal moment. Agreeing to rewind this romance during such a critical surge invites distraction. The reconciliation was driven by emotion first, strategy second, and that's a mistake. Once those sentiments slipped out, the internet didn't just talk, it roared. Some commenters argued the manager was paid to be the adult in the room, to make hard calls and prevent unnecessary turbulence. They praised Yagmur's recent body of work and said consistency was the key to building something lasting. They saw the manager's bluntness as a kind of tough love. Others bristled. They wrote that women have been told to prioritize narratives over needs for too long. They asked who benefits from a life stripped of softness. They said that if her partner brings peace instead of chaos, then the decision is not only personal but wise. They reminded everyone that we only see fragments of a couple's inner world and that the simplest images, two hands, a quiet morning, could be the strongest anchors of all. In the middle of it, Barış's rumored words stood out in relief. To say our relationship is ours alone is to draw a circle that excludes committee opinions and strategic memos. It's also a plea for trust. But it raises the question that shows up in every chapter of their story. What happens when two people try to build something under the gaze of 1,000 lenses? Every choice gets dissected, every absence gets assigned meaning, every pause becomes a paragraph. It's a delicate dance, protecting the bond without making it a battle against every voice outside the room. For the moment, Yagmur has let her posts carry her perspective. In addition to living a simple life and finding herself, she has written about returning to herself, simplifying, and waiting for the right moment. Those phrases sound like a map of where she is right now. Returning to herself suggests she's stripping away the layers that come with fame, obligations, noise, and the shadows of expectation. Simplifying hints at a wish to say no more often, to protect energy, to keep the day uncluttered. And waiting for the right moment suggests patience, the quiet bravery of allowing choices to ripen. Are these messages about love, or about career, or about reclaiming balance from both? Her followers argue the meaning in comments beneath each post, because that's what fans do when they care, they search for answers between the lines. What can't be denied is that this controversy has tethered their names to another round of attention. The pair has been here before, navigating the highs and lows with a kind of practiced composure. The difference this time is that the friction seems to come from within, the push and pull between heart and plan, spontaneity and schedule. It's precisely that inner tug that makes the story feel so human. We might watch them on screen or on stage, but the questions they face are the oldest ones we know. Do you follow the pulse of love, or the arc of ambition? Can you honor both without losing either? And when someone outside the relationship speaks louder than those inside it, who gets to hold the narrative? Let's not forget how the reconciliation rolled out. It wasn't with grand gestures or extended statements. It was with small signs, an overlapping playlist shared in passing, a comment liked at midnight, a soft photo that felt familiar without revealing more than it should. That's how fans knew. It was the tender breadcrumb trail that lovers leave when they find their way back. The response came swift and bright, people thrilled in the comments, reporters asked gentle questions, and friends posted hearts. It looked, for a moment, like the start of a season where calm might be possible. But the manager's remarks poured cold water on that hope. Some insiders say the shock wasn't just the content, but the timing. Right as their supporters were cautiously exhaling, the reminder arrived that not everyone around them considered the reunion good news. In that sense, the drama isn't just about whether love and work can coexist. It's about competing definitions of what support looks like. One definition keeps the train on the tracks. The other wraps two people in a cocoon and lets them figure it out. Both are valid in their own way, both clash when the stakes feel high. Meanwhile, if you read between the lines, there's a very real fear that this back and forth could nudge them into old patterns, one party feeling judged, the other feeling defensive, both exhausted. It's no secret that the pressure of public relationships can be corrosive. Little misunderstandings become headlines. Private disagreements become proof for strangers who want to be right about a narrative they built in their heads. The only antidote is trust, clarity, and a shared decision about boundaries. Do they answer the noise or ignore it? Do they step back from social media or use it to speak? Do they allow representatives to speak on their behalf, or do they shut that door when it comes to intimate matters? For now, both have chosen restraint. There's power in that, and risk too. The absence of an official statement can allow compassion to grow, but it also leaves room for rumor. The internet fills silence with whatever story suits its mood that day. You can feel the crowd leaning forward, wanting to know if they will hold the line or stumble. People who've watched them since the early days still believe in the careful, steady love that seemed to flicker beneath the surface even when they were apart. Others think the tides of their careers are too strong. They say that timing is everything, and this may not be theirs. What happens next is crucial. If the manager's words harden into a stance, then the couple may be asked to choose which voice they value more in moments that should be personal. If that happens, the risk of a new rupture rises. On the other hand, if conversations behind closed doors bring reconciliation among the adults in the room, clarity about roles, gentleness about language, respect for boundaries, the relationship could emerge steadier than before. It's often the hardest chapters that teach couples how to protect what matters. The question is whether they can turn this storm into a lesson instead of a wall. As always, we'll be watching how they move. Do they show up at an event together soon, a quiet but firm signal that the outside noise won't set their pace? Does one of them post something unmistakably direct, cutting through the fog? Or do they let time do what time does, soften the edges, prove intent, and reveal what is real by what endures? For now, their story remains open, elastic, alive. And maybe that's the only honest way for any love to exist in the spotlight, unfixed, imperfect, and protected not by declarations but by choices made, day after day, when no one else is looking. Here we come to the end of our video. If you enjoyed our deep dive and want to keep up with every twist and turn in their journey, don't forget to subscribe to Turkish series stars and share this video. See you in the next one.